Your dog is staring into the corner of the room, suddenly standing up and growing alert before it starts to bark. You turn around, only to see nothing but a plain, ordinary wall. You tell her to be quiet, yet she does not hear you and continues barking at the void. In that moment, a cold shiver runs down your spine, even though you are not a superstitious person. As a rational adult who does not believe in ghosts, you still find yourself looking at the wall one more time just to be sure. It turns out your reaction is completely justified, though the reason is not what you might think. There is a real, scientific explanation for this behavior, and it is arguably more unsettling than any ghost story. To understand why this happens, we must first look at how dogs perceive the world around them. You share the same apartment and the same four walls, but your sensory experiences are fundamentally different. The human ear detects sounds in a range from 20 to 20,000 hertz, which encompasses everything you consider your acoustic environment. A dog, however, can hear up to 65,000 hertz, which represents an entirely different reality. They hear things for which you literally lack the sensory organs to perceive, including sounds existing in your home right now that you will never experience. Furthermore, a dog's nose contains 300 million olfactory receptors compared to your 6 million. They can detect scents in concentrations 100,000 times lower than what you can sense, effectively allowing them to smell the passage of time. The simplest explanation for a dog barking at a wall is one that most people rarely even consider. There is often someone or something physically there, such as a mouse, a rat, or even a nest of insects hidden in the structure. It could be a wasp nest in the ceiling, or a pipe where something is moving deep inside the frame. A dog hears the rustle behind the drywall long before you notice the first physical signs of pests in your kitchen. They do not just hear a vague noise. They track the rodent moving inside the wall with precision at a specific height and trajectory. There are documented cases where owners called veterinarians or animal psychologists before finally tearing open the wall to find a nest of rats. The dog knew they were there from the very first day, but no one believed her. Sometimes the wall is truly empty, yet the dog continues to react because of a phenomenon known as infrasound. These are sound waves with a frequency below 20 Hz, which is well below the threshold of human hearing. While you cannot hear them, these waves pass through walls and your own body in ways that normal sound cannot. In 1998, an engineer named Vic Tandy discovered that 18.9 Hz is the resonant frequency of the human eyeball. This specific frequency causes the eye to vibrate, blurring peripheral vision and creating the illusion of shadowy figures where nothing exists. The brain interprets this as a presence or a silhouette, leading to the feeling of being watched. Your dog senses this infrasound much earlier and more accurately, barking at the source of the wave, whether it is a fan or a drafty corridor. Dogs are also incredibly sensitive to electromagnetic fields, a fact that has been well documented by researchers. They navigate using the Earth's magnetic field as naturally as a compass, and they react when this field is locally disturbed. This could be caused by old wiring, a faulty appliance, or even a transformer hidden behind a partition. In 2011, owners across Japan reported strange behavior in their pets hours before a magnitude 9.1 earthquake struck. Dogs refused to eat, howled without reason, and barked incessantly at the walls and floors. This was not a legend, but actual data showing how animals react to the deformation of the Earth's crust. These geological shifts create electromagnetic changes and release gases through microcracks that humans simply cannot detect. There are some stories that remain difficult to explain even with all our scientific knowledge. One woman living in a small fourth-floor apartment noticed her quiet dog began stopping in a specific spot in the hallway every night. At exactly 2 o'clock in the morning, the dog would stare at the wall and begin a long, monotonous whimper. The owner had the wiring checked and the walls tested for hollow spaces, but the management company found no anomalies at all. Later, a neighbor mentioned that an elderly man had died in the apartment directly below that exact spot 3 years prior. He had been alone and was not found for several days, which adds a haunting layer to the dog's behavior. Even if there is a logical reason for the dog's focus, the timing and location remain deeply chilling. When your dog barks at an empty wall, you should realize she is not losing her mind or playing a game. She is responding to something very real that exists in your home but remains outside your limited sensory spectrum. Over 15,000 years of evolution alongside humans, the canine brain has not forgotten how to be an animal. They have retained an entire arsenal of perception, from high-frequency hearing to an acute sensitivity to physical waves. Your dog lives in your apartment, but simultaneously occupies a layer of reality that you cannot see or hear. Research even shows that dogs can detect illnesses like cancer by smelling volatile organic compounds in a person's breath months before a medical diagnosis. Ultimately, a bark at a plain wall is a report from a world you cannot reach. So perhaps it is time to start listening.